Morning, everybody. CP asked me to bring up the old blue stock trailer as our son is moving to a new residence. Sold their place in the big city and moving to a little hamlet outside of Regina. So gonna be using that thing, I guess, for not so much for household items, but for garage stuff, stuff like that. And I need to get him hooked up to one of them so we can get started with cutting. It's really wet this morning. The deck is still wet this morning even. Heavier light grass is dried off finally, but heavier grass is still got water in it, but we got a breeze and it won't take long and it'll dry off here shortly. So and our BR 780 is gone. We sold it. So now we just got the RB 565 premium case, which is basically outside of the paint. That baler is a New Holland. It's be the same thing as a RB 560 specialty crop. So yeah, they're the same baler. And over there is our little BR 7080, so 7080. It makes a 5x5 bale. That's what I made the straw bales with last year. So yeah. So a few things happened here in the last couple days. That would be it. Riley's surgery was like 8.5 hours for a cancerous 6 centimeter cancerous brain tumor, and I don't know if they got it all or not. So Riley is our nephew's, my brother's son, would be his common law wife, mother to his child. And it sounds like the surgery went well. They were saying how she potentially could lose her speech. There is multiple things, possible loss of some motor skills, memory issues, or so on and so forth. Hey, it's dealing with your brain. Your brain functions your whole body, right? Anyway, it sounds like surgery went well. She was able to move her arms and legs and everything last night, and she was talking a little bit last night, so that's all good. Their plan was to get her up and get her walking around a little bit. From what I understand, it helps so you don't get blood clots like after a surgery like that. So yeah, so hopefully going forward with the chemo, if they didn't get all of this tumor out, maybe with the chemo and so on and so forth, that'll take care of the rest of it, hopefully. But anywho, so that's good news. Anyway, I got a couple other things here I got to deal with this morning, and then we're gonna go start cutting hay, because we haven't actually cut any hay yet this year. So we'll talk to you guys later. Alrighty guys, well, we're out here. This is supposed to be a field for grazing my cows on, but landowner's afraid by the time I get the cows here, it'll be too old and sticky, stemmy, and they won't want to graze out here, kind of like what happened last year. And so they did plow the outside edge of the field, a little bit. And so right here, this first pass for my tractor is kind of rough. He did say it might be kind of rough inside the field, and I'm gonna have to watch for stones, because it was never seeded to be a hay field. It was seeded to be a grazing field for a couple years and then a plow down. And this would be the second year of grazing on it, and the plan is to plow it all down this fall and then get crop into her in the spring. But if you remember, for some of you guys, 2 years ago, I had talked about how we were supposed to have a bunch of clover to cut and bale, and then we never had the clover, and then we did, and then we never. And well, this is part of that land, that field. So there's still some old clover sticks out here, because we never did cut and bale it. So there's still some old clover sticks, and there's lots of old grass stem and alfalfa underneath. Now with the little bit of rain we just had, we're hoping that this stuff will come back and it'll make for decent grazing here in a couple, 2-3 weeks. That's what we're hoping for. Anywho, I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna get a couple rounds made and the headlands, basically, because I don't think I want to be turning around on top of this bouncy, because they just went with a cultivator. It's pretty rough. It's pretty bouncy. So yeah, I'm gonna do my 6 headlands, 6 rounds, and I'll bring you guys back a little later. Talk to you then. Alrighty guys, a little bit of a story. Yeah, I think they seeded this field east and west, because when I go north and south across the ends, it's really bouncy. But anyway, story about this field. I used to rent this field. It was fairly new seeded hayland back in 1997. That's when I first started renting from this particular landlord. And that piece right there was connected to this. And way over there, if you look, you can see my cows. See if I could blow up a little better. There they are. Anyway, there's a water run that runs through here, through the trees, loops around, goes all the way through the field. So I never cut the water run. It's a little rough, and obviously trees, bush, blah blah blah. But where the cows are, where this little patch is here, this 50-60 acres that I'm on right now, that piece back there, basically I cut through the water run over here, but over here I left it alone. So yeah, it was literally a whole quarter minus the water run from the trees here, the bush, to just back there. So about, I don't know, let's say 5 acres, maybe 8 acres at the very most. Otherwise, yeah, we used to cut all of this land back in 97, and that we continued to cut it straight through until they took it out of production, and I believe that was right around 2012. Right here, it's really nice. And then it gets kind of thin. And then it gets really nice again. It's all over the page this year. But back then, we used to average like friggin' 3.5, 4 bales an acre every year for like 10 years straight. It was pretty friggin' phenomenal land. And now we're cutting it, and then we're gonna graze it, and then we're going to it'll probably get plowed under and go back to farmland. That'd be my guess as to what's gonna happen with it anyways. Here it's really nice and thick again. The twitch grass came into this field something crazy. Last year the cows kind of sort of grazed this a little bit, but not very much. By the time the cows got on it, it was pretty stemmy and sticky, and they didn't care for it. And that's the whole purpose of cutting it now. So with all that trash from last year and the year before, that helps hold moisture. I did break a sickle, and you can feel the moisture in the ground. So how much I'm going to get done here, because she's pretty rough. For the most part, I'm only going like 4.5 miles an hour. We're not going overly fast. Here it's pretty thin again, but for how thin it is, it's still leaving a swath. And if I miss a little bit, I really don't care, because the cows will come in here and clean it up after we're done anyway. So I got to do 2 more rounds, and then we're going to start going back and forth, working east and west as we cut, working our way south from those trees out there, coming south this way. And if we don't get it all cut, it's not a big deal. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Alrighty guys, so some of you can see that strip of hay that's standing there. Well, that's because I must have hit a rock or something and I broke a sickle. So what exactly does that mean? Well, I got on a hay bind, we have what we call a knife. And on that knife is all the sickles. Anyway, imagine a steak knife. So you got your main blade, but then on the cutting edge of the steak knife, you got a whole bunch of little serrated parts. So similar to a steak knife with them serrated or rough edges that are really sharp, and they grab the meat and they cut it. Well, it's similar to that, only with a hay bind on that knife, we call that serrated part, or that rough, really sharp, rough edge part, we call that a sickle. And they're basically like 3 inches wide, and they're in a triangle shape, and they're bolted onto the main knife. And if you break one, well, then you end up with a strip, obviously, because it's not cutting in that spot. So maybe if I break another one, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. For all these newcomers to the channel, thank you, welcome to the channel. But yeah, for anybody that's never run a hay bind machine, or you don't really know exactly what, yeah, we can see we're cutting this grass. He puts it in a row, then he goes and he bales it. Big deal, right? Well, you can say big deal, but in my eyes it is a big deal, because this grass is what feeds our cows all winter. So, and this is just part of it. Like, This is actually quackgrass, the majority of it, which is a weed. And then it's like 80 to 90% quackgrass and 10% alfalfa. In the farming world, quackgrass is a nasty friggin' weed that everybody has trouble getting rid of. In the city world or acreage world, quackgrass, when kept really short, can be a lawn. And it'll stay green for a long time with minimal water. Like, it doesn't take much water to get quackgrass to grow. Like right here, there's alfalfa, you can see it, but you get further up into the field up this way, and it's pretty much pure quackgrass. So yeah, and we're cutting her at about the max stage that we could cut her, because the quackgrass is starting to turn a little bit in color. So we cut it now. We had a little bit of rain. The ground has got some moisture underneath. So that quackgrass, theoretically, I've seen it in the past where it'll take off and start growing again. See here? Almost zero alfalfa. And it'll be like that all the way to the end of the field. Anyways, enough of my jibber jabber. If I happen to break another sickle, I'll try and remember to grab the cam and bring you guys along and show you exactly how we change it. Anyways, talk to you later. Alrighty guys, so here you go. This here, that's quackgrass. That's what it looks like when it's in head. Here's another one flowering. That little stemmy stuff on the side is the flower. And this is our alfalfa down here. And so lots of it's dropped its flower, but there's a few of them that are just actually coming into bud. It's actually a young alfalfa stand. It's only this is like the second year for it. But like I said before, if I break a sickle, if you don't stop and the crop is heavy, you break a sickle, it's not there cutting, and then it just piles up and you start bulldozing if you don't stop right away. So this shows you exactly what happens. I was bulldozing, I knew that, and I said, fuck it. The cows are gonna be coming in here to graze, so they can eat that up, and I'll fix it on the end of the row. So I did that on purpose now, and unfortunately it's on the drive side. This here is the drive. And the ones on the drive side take a lot longer to fix because there's a bar over here. You see all these little bolts? Those bolts go through the knife. Well, then you got a short drive head bar. It's like 16 inches long, 14 inches long. It goes from the other side of the wall there to here. Well, our sickle that's broke is right here. So we got to undo all these bolts, lift that bar off in order to change that one sickle. So all of this has to come off. So yeah, we're gonna be here for a bit. Sucks, but that's just the way it is. I got my little Milwaukee, I got my replacement sickles, so we're ready to rock and roll. I'll bring you guys back in a bit. So once I get them all loosened off, okay, I thought I had it all loosened off, not quite. I generally get them all loosened off, and then the last little bit I take them off by hand. And lost that one. It's not ideal, but we'll find it, I'm sure. I gotta find that nut. I'll bring you back in a sec. Okay, so once you got all your nuts off, then you gotta go in and pry that son of a bitchin' bar up, just like that. So now we can get that sickle. Son of a beehive. Of course, we got to adjust our knife over because we're catching right here on the guard edge. Right there, I'm catching just a little tiny bit. So we got to shift our knife over that way some. Then we can pop that out. Now, how do I do that? Well, I could take the guard off. That eliminates getting up and down. Or you just come on the backside here with a big ass crescent. Notice my half knife, that's what I watch right there. I can see it move. I think I'm shifted over enough now. So now we can pop that old sickle out, get the new one in, and then just in reverse, put all those nuts back on. Later. Well, there goes CP back to her truck. The field is done. Towards the end of the field, it kind of goes into a bit of a triangular type shape, and when you get to the ends, I could have cut it so it was nice and clean, but like I said before, the cows will be coming in here, so there's parts that I literally just lifted and just left it the way it was, right? I left pieces, I didn't cut it clean. But yeah, this field is all cut down, this 50 to 60 odd acres. Not bad. It's 6:30, quarter to 7. We got rolling out here around 11 o'clock, so not bad. We'll take this machine home and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Weatherman at this point is calling for rain. Starting Thursday evening, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, there's rain all 3 friggin' days. You know what? I'm gonna try something. I don't know if this black shit will be any smoother. But we're gonna find out. But anyways, so they're calling for showers for all 3 friggin' days, and at this point, the grand totals for all 3 days is somewhere around 5 or 6 mil. So like a quarter of an inch. So not a lot. And who knows, some of that between today, the opening rounds today, even though I did drive on it somewhat, but today tomorrow it's supposed to be 33 to 35, I think. So that's like 90 some degrees Fahrenheit with a wind gust of 42 or 3. That stuff should dry really well. I could be baling a bunch of it come Thursday. So that would be alright. Anywho, I'm gonna let you guys go. Give us the old thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Fun, fun, fun. Let's get her done. We'll catch y'all later.